In this video I will explain to you what means the Asian Handicap, as this is one of the most used types of bets by all professionals. We at bettor.com use Asian Handicap almost all the time, but it seems there are still many people who don't know what it means. Before I start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the bell. We upload only very valuable information about betting, which will help you for sure to get better and better. Let's begin with the main question. What is Asian Handicap? And in its sense, the Asian Handicap is a major advantage for one of the teams. It is marked with plus or minus, depending on whether goals are added or subtracted from the result of the team you've chosen. The most important feature of Asian Handicap is that it eliminates the draw as an opportunity and you only have 2 exits. This is also the main difference with the European Handicap, where the draw is involved, but when it's a draw you lose, while in Asian Handicap, when it's a draw you get your money back. The same when you've placed the type of bet draw no bet. How to use Asian Handicap? I will give you 2 examples of the pictures. They are examples of when you can get your money back. Now another example is when there are only 2 options because there can't be a draw. That is when you bet plus 1.5, plus 2.5, plus 3.5, minus 1.5 and so on. Let's see plus 1.5 Asian Handicap. Plus 1.5 means the team you've bet on will have an advantage with 1.5 goals. So if this team doesn't lose with more than 1 goal difference or just make a draw or win, it will mean that you win the bet. The most important thing is to understand that when there is a draw in the Asian Handicap, your bet is returned or you count it as 1 odds. Whether you are talking about the full time of the match or you have an over/under Asian goal line, it's the same as if you bet on over 2.0 Asian goal line on some match and it ends 2-0. Your bet becomes 1 odds, but if you bet on a half like over or under 3.5 goal line or Asian Handicap minus 0.5, there can't be a draw because there are no half goals. So these are the 2 cases in Asian Handicap. Asian Handicap goes along with the Asian goal line. The goals are maybe easier to get. Anyway, in terms of betting on one of the teams, it's the same though. So in most cases for the goals it's used a half goal handicap of 0.5, 1.5, 2.5 and so on. This way you have only 2 options, to win or to lose. In this case it doesn't matter if you bet over 2.5 goals or over 2.5 Asian goal line. Both are the same, only with different markets and odds probably. Most of the time the Asian odds are better. The other option is to use full goals. This can happen in normal markets but only in the Asian. It's when you bet over or under 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, so you also win or lose here, but you have a third option, exactly this number of goals, so with it your bet is returned. That is when you bet on over 2 Asian goal line and there are exactly 2 goals in the match, or under 2, it's the same if there are 2 goals in the match. Now I will tell you the more difficult thing in the Asian Handicap. This is the 2-way Asian Handicap. Now this is maybe the hardest to understand, but it's actually pretty easy overall when you get it. The spelling of the quarters looks like this: 0.25, 0.75, 1.25, 1.75 and so on. It's used for Asian Handicap or Asian goal line. When Asian Handicap is written with a quarter, the closest values on both sides of the quarter are taken to represent it more clearly. You can see them in the picture here. On the left is the short, concise and revised version, while on the right is the complete and descriptive presentation method. Basically, if you see for example Liverpool plus 0.25 Asian Handicap is the same bet as Liverpool 0-0, plus 0.5 Asian Handicap. It's just written differently by the different bookmakers, but it's the same. But what does it mean? When you bet on this handicap, your bet is split into 2 equal bets which are betting on both options and are considered as 2 separate bets. You can see the simple example on the picture. If you have bet an accumulator with 3 games, for example, with 10 euro, and one of the selections is West Ham plus 1.25 Asian Handicap and West Ham lose by 1 goal difference with, let's say, 2-1, but the other options are won, then what's happening? Your bet is split onto 5 euro and one more 5 euro. The first bet counts on the wins of both other games, but also West Ham plus 1.0 Asian Handicap, which is void because they lost 2-1 and with 1 goal advantage of the handicap, it's 2-2. When it's a draw, it gives you back your money. So then this €5 will be count 1.90 multiplied by 1.65 by multiplied by 1 or nothing, which is 15.68. The other bet though will count the same odds, but for the West Ham game it will count West Ham plus 1.5 Asian handicap, which is 1. So in this case we have 1.90 multiplied by 1.65 multiplied by 2.08, which is 32.60. In the end we collect both sums, 15 and 32, which equals to €45 and some cents. That's your win from this bet. The principle of the quarter handicap or the two-way handicap is exactly like this every time. So what is the difference between handicap or European handicap and the Asian handicap? The main difference between both handicaps is that with the handicap or originally named European handicap, there is no draw option, while in the Asian handicap there is. So if we have the same example with Sevilla plus 1.0 handicap, which we gave earlier, we know that if the game ends 0-1 for the opponent of Sevilla, it means that with the Asian handicap it will be 1-1, so your bet will be returned or the odds will become 1. But if you bet Sevilla plus 1 European handicap, it means that if they lose by 1 goal, the difference, the score becomes 1-1, as it doesn't have a draw option, your bet is lost, not returned. So in the European handicap you must always win. It's the same if you bet plus 0.5 on the Asian handicap as plus 1 on European handicap. So Asian handicap for Sevilla in this case is like this. So with the normal handicap, your team should always win against the advantage or the passive, no matter if it's on his side or not at the beginning. Little by little, once you start using it, you will get used to and discover the many opportunities that Asian handicap offers you and start actively taking advantage of it, and you will use it in different markets. Almost always the Asian handicap offers higher odds for a similar prediction than the European handicap. I hope this video was useful for you. If it was, hit the like button and goodbye.